And normal, missing her vaccination dates.
We're not vaccinating.
Think they don't work?
I think some multinational pharmaceutical company wants me to think they work. Pad their bottom line.
May I? Ready? All natural, no dyes is a good business. All natural children's toys. Toy companies, they don't arbitrarily mark up their frogs. They don't lie about how much they spend on research and development. The worst a toy company can be accused of is making a really boring frog. Ready. You know another really good business? Teeny tiny baby coffins. You can get them in frog green, fire engine red. Really. The antibodies in Yummy Mummy only protect the kid for 6 months, which is why these companies think they can gouge you. They think that you'll spend whatever they ask to keep your kid alive. Want to change things? Prove them wrong. A few hundred parents like you decide they'd rather let their kid die than cough up $40 for a vaccination. Believe me, prices will drop really fast. Ready.
Tell me what she has.
A cold.
Do it. Try minimizing that. Just the whole, yeah. Is it on your screen?
Yeah.
Can you drag it and drag it up?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about vaccinations, obviously. So that video kind of shows how some parents, they kind of portray it as some parents would rather choose to not spend money on vaccinations than to spend about $40 to get your kid vaccinated and possibly save them from a life-ending disease. So if you ever plan on being a parent, you're going to have to make this decision whether you vaccinate your kids or not. So that's why this is important to anyone that's going to listen to this. So my points are that vaccinations save parents money and time, they eliminate diseases, and then ultimately save lives. So I've researched this quite a bit, and I think that everyone should vaccinate their children. So the first point is that they save money and time. So in 2008, an outbreak of measles cost the city of San Diego $123,000 about due to emergency vaccination and outbreak response. So not only did it cost parents money who then had to go rush and get their kids vaccinated, and it also cost the city money. So when you don't vaccinate your kids and you decide not to spend money on the vaccination, inevitably you're going to end up spending more money when they get sick and you have to keep taking them to the doctor to get help. So then it costs about $2,000 to vaccinate a child up to 18 years old on private insurance. So that's for 18 years, they're basically covered on their vaccinations for $2,000. And that seems kind of like a lot, but if you take into consideration all the trips you're saving to the doctor's office that they could have because they weren't vaccinated, it's really not that much that they're paying for. And then also saving time by not having to take your kids to the doctor every time that they're sick. So then also vaccinations can eliminate diseases, and we've seen that in 2012, the death rate for diseases such as diphtheria, measles, mumps, rubella, and HIV were decreased by 99% because of vaccinations. But then also, when people don't continue to get vaccinations, they can allow diseases that were out of existence to come back into existence. And that's an example here. According to the CDC website, this happened in Japan, where about 80% of kids were getting vaccinated, and the whooping cough disease was basically eliminated. They had hardly seen any cases of it. And then it started to become less and less people vaccinating their kids for the whooping cough disease. And in 1979, there were more than 13,000 people getting it because it dropped all the way to only 10% of the country was getting vaccinated. So it was almost completely out of existence, and then because they didn't keep up on it, it started to come back, which we can also see with the measles outbreak right now in the United States. So in 2000, it was almost confirmed eliminated, the entire disease. And then now we've seen 695 confirmed cases in the United States in the last couple years. And 10% of those people are vaccinated. So not only is it putting people at risk that weren't vaccinated, but because it's so widespread, people that were vaccinated are starting to see that they need more vaccinations because they're around it so much. Which is also true for when you don't vaccinate your kid, you're putting other kids at risk that are even vaccinated because you're letting the disease continue. And then most importantly, vaccinations save lives. So vaccines save 2.5 million children from preventable diseases every year. That's 285 children every hour that are being saved from a disease because they were vaccinated. According to Short Life, so when babies are born, they rely on their mother's immune system for the first 6 months. And then after that 6 months, they're on their own. So that's a lot for a child to take in at 6 months old, all those diseases around them. So by vaccinating your kid, you're giving them a chance. Like the video shows, that baby just had a cold, but the symptoms that it was showing were much worse because it had not been vaccinated. So in conclusion, I think it is inconsiderate to not vaccinate your child. Not only do you put your own child in danger, but you put every child around your child in danger. And I think that if we don't focus more on vaccinating our kids, we'll start to see more negative repercussions like measles and other diseases coming back into existence. So vaccines save life, they save time, but they save lives. So to save lives, we have to vaccinate our kids. That's all.